Okay, we're going live. And we're live.
Yay.
Hello and welcome to Theater But Better's production of the iconic film Tim Burton's Alice in Wonderland. So we'll go around and say who we're playing. David's like, I'm out already.
Gotta go.
I'm over it. And
Hi.
we will get going. So, Katie, who are you playing this evening? Katie.
I'm playing White Rabbit, the White Queen, and apparently Fiona, but I'm still looking for her in the script.
I don't know.
Way up there.
All right.
Madison, who are you playing?
Tweedledee, female bloodhound, and Lady Long Ears.
Amazing. Bridget, what about you?
I am reading the stage directions.
Amazing. Maddie, what about you?
I am playing Charles Kingsley, Talking Flower, Dormouse, Faith, and the Bloodhound.
Percy, who are you playing?
I am playing the Knave of Hearts, the Executioner, the Colleague, and a horse.
Sorry, I spaced out for a second. Austin, who are you playing?
I am Lord Ascot, Tweedledum, and Big Belly Man.
Love it. Summer, who are you playing?
I'm playing the March Hare, Helen Kingsley, and Foot Frog number 2.
Love it. Mark, who are you playing?
I am playing Alice Kingsley.
Amazing. Michelle, who are you playing?
I am the Red Queen, Lady Ascot, and Foot Frog number 1.
Amazing. Gabby, who are you playing?
If you can't tell, I'm playing the Cheshire Cat.
David, who apparently really doesn't want to be in this. David, who are you playing?
I'm playing Hamish, the Jabberwocky, the Caterpillar, Big Nose Woman, and Foot Frog number 3.
Amazing. Or no, Katie, it is Imogen, not Fiona. My bad. Katie is also Imogen, not Fiona. Sorry. We had someone drop out like last night and I had to move things around. That's why I fucked up the cast list. And if you couldn't tell, I'm Molly and I am playing the Mad Hatter. Okay, so, sorry, a piece of my wig just got caught on my glove. So, if you're not in the first scene, get on out of here.
Alice by Linda Wolverton, based on Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, Through the Looking Glass by Lewis Carroll. Fade in, exterior, London, 1855, night. Warm light shines from the study of the gracious Kingsley home. A man silhouetted in the window speaks with ardor. Interior, the study, night continued. Charles Kingsley has just described his new venture to his friends, including Lord Ascot.
Charles, you have finally lost your senses.
This venture is quite impossible.
For some, gentlemen, the only way to achieve the impossible is to believe it is possible.
That kind of thinking could ruin you.
I'm willing to take that chance. Imagine trading posts in Rangoon, Bangkok, Jakarta.
He stops. His 9-year-old daughter, Alice, stands at the door in her nightgown, clearly frightened. He goes to her.
The nightmare again?
She nods. He takes her hand and turns to his guests.
I won't be long.
Interior, young Alice's bedroom. Later. He sits on her bed, listening with utmost seriousness.
I'm falling down a dark hole. Then I see strange creatures.
What kind of creatures?
Well, there's a dodo bird, a rabbit in a waistcoat, a smiling cat.
I didn't know cats could smile.
Neither did I. Oh, and there's a blue caterpillar.
Blue caterpillar.
Do you think I've gone round the bend?
He feels her forehead as if for a fever.
I'm afraid so. You're mad, bonkers, off your head. But I'll tell you a secret. All the best people are.
She smiles and leans against him.
It's only a dream, Alice. Nothing can harm you there. But if you get too frightened, you can always wake up like this.
He pinches her. She screams and pinches him back. Cut to exterior, the outskirts of London, 10 years later. A horse-drawn carriage careens down the road at a full gallop. Interior, the carriage day continued. Alice Kingsley is on the verge of womanhood, beautiful but slightly off kilter. She sees the world with different eyes than other people her age. Presently, she's tired and grumpy as her mother fusses with her wild mane of blonde hair.
Must we go? I doubt they'll notice if we never arrive.
They will notice.
She reties her waist sash, feeling for her corset.
Where's your corset?
She pulls back her dress to see bare legs.
And no stockings?
I'm against them.
But you're not properly dressed.
Who's to say what is proper? What if it was agreed that proper was wearing a codfish on your head? Would you wear it?
Alice.
To me, a corset is like a codfish.
Please, not today.
Frustrated, Alice looks out the window and mutters.
Father will have laughed.
She sees the hurt on her mother's face and instantly regrets her words.
I'm sorry. I'm tired. I didn't sleep well last night.
Her mother pats her hand in a forgiving gesture.
Did you have bad dreams again?
Only the one. It's always the same ever since I can remember. Do you think that's normal? Don't most people have different dreams?
Alice's mother removes her own jewelry and puts it on her.
I don't know. There, you're beautiful. Now, can you manage a smile?
Exterior, the Ascot estate, the gardens, day. The garden party is in full swing. Everyone has turned out in their summer finery. Guests play croquet on the great lawn. Skiffs drift lazily on a meandering river. Alice approaches Lord and Lady Ascot with a fixed, unnatural smile. Lord Ascot is a stately, aristocratic man. Lady Ascot is red-faced with annoyance.
At last! I thought you'd never arrive. Alice, Hamish is waiting to dance with you. Go!
She pushes Alice off and turns on Helen.
You do realize it's well past 4. Now everything will have to be rushed through.
I'm sorry,
Oh, never mind.
She rushes off.
Forgive my wife. She's been planning this affair for the last 20 years.
If only Charles were here.
My condolences, madam. I think of your husband often. He was truly a man of vision.
Thank you.
I hope you don't think I have taken advantage of your misfortune.
Of course not. I'm pleased that you've purchased the company.
I was a fool for not investing in his mad adventure when I had the chance.
She smiles.
Charles thought so too.
Exterior, the garden, a quadrille. Alice does a line dance with Hamish, who takes after his mother, refined and immaculate with aristocratic arrogance.
Hamish, do you ever tire of the quadrille?
On the contrary, I find it invigorating.
He struts like a peacock. Alice laughs.
Do I amuse you?
No, I had a sudden vision of all the ladies in the top hats and the men wearing bonnets.
He doesn't even crack a smile.
It would be best to keep your visions to yourself. When in doubt, remain silent.
Alice's smile fades. Without her father, she feels there's no one like her in the whole world. They dance on. Alice sees a flock of geese overhead. Distracted, she bumps into the dancers in front of them.
Pardon us. Miss Kingsley is distracted today. Where is your head?
I was wondering what it would feel like to fly.
Why would you waste your time thinking about such an impossible thing?
Why wouldn't I? My father said he sometimes believed in 6 impossible things before breakfast.
She laughs at the memory. Hamish looks pained. He sees his mother nearby. She waves on him on impatiently.
Meet me under the gazebo in precisely 10 minutes.
He goes off. Suddenly, 2 giggling girls appear in front of Alice. It's the Chataways.
We have a secret to tell you.
If you're telling me, then it's not much of a secret.
Perhaps we shouldn't.
We decided we would.
If we tell her, she won't be surprised.
Will you be surprised?
Not if you tell me, but now you've brought it up. You have to.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
I wonder
In
if
fact,
your,
we won't.
I wonder if your mother knows that you two swim naked in the Haversham's pond.
You wouldn't.
Oh, but I would. There's your mother now.
Alice starts to walk toward her. Fiona blurts out,
Hamish is going to ask for your hand.
Alice stops dead. Her sister Margaret suddenly pulls her away.
Madison, be Margaret. Sorry.
You've ruined the surprise. I could strangle them. Everyone went to so much effort to keep the secret.
Does everyone know?
It's why they've all come. This is your engagement party. Hamish will ask you under the gazebo. When you say yes.
But I don't know if I want to marry him.
Who then? You won't do any better than a lord.
She looks at Hamish, who blows his nose, studies the contents of his kerchief, and then folds it and puts it in his pocket.
You'll soon be 20, Alice. That pretty face won't last forever. You don't want to end up like Aunt Imogen.
They look at their middle-aged Aunt Imogen with over-rouged cheeks and a yellowing white dress that's too young for her.
And you don't want to be a burden on Mother, do you?
No.
So you will marry Hamish. You will be as happy as I am with Lowell, and your life will be perfect. It's already decided.
Lady Ascot's face suddenly looms in hers.
Alice, dear, shall we take a leisurely stroll through the garden, just you and me?
She jerks her away quickly. Exterior, the rose gardens. Lady Ascot steers her through the gardens at a fast clip.
Do you know what I've always dreaded?
The decline of aristocracy?
Ugly grandchildren. But you're so lovely. You're bound to produce little... imbeciles! The gardeners planted white roses when I specifically asked for red.
You could always paint the roses red.
Lady Ascot looks at her strangely.
What an odd thing to say. Come along.
She hurries her along the path. Alice hears a jingling sound.
You should know that my son has an extremely delicate digestion.
Alice sees something large and white dart past.
Did you see that?
See what?
It was a rabbit, I think.
Nasty things. I do enjoy setting the dogs on them. Don't dawdle.
She rushes Alice toward the gazebo. Alice looks for the rabbit.
If you served Hamish the wrong foods, he could get a blockage.
And there it is, a large white rabbit in a waistcoat, standing on its hind legs, staring directly at Alice. She blinks. The white rabbit darts behind a tree.
Did you see it that time?
See what?
The rabbit.
Don't shout. Pay attention. Hamish said you were easily distracted. What was I saying?
Hamish has a blockage. I couldn't be more interested, but you'll have to excuse me.
Alice dives into the wooded area off the path and stands for a moment, mind reeling. A hand lands on her shoulder. She jumps.
Aunt Imogen, I think I'm going mad. I keep seeing a rabbit in a waistcoat.
How very strange. What kind of waistcoat?
Brocade, I think. What does it matter? It's a rabbit in a waistcoat.
I can't be bothered with your fancy rabbit now. I'm waiting for what you want to say.
You have a fiancé?
The white rabbit darts by.
There, did you see it?
He's a prince, but alas, he cannot marry me unless he renounces his throne. Isn't it tragic?
Very.
She backs away and runs into her sister's husband, Lowell, kissing a strange woman. The woman runs off.
Lowell? What is going on?
Alice, Hattie is an old friend.
I can see you're very close.
Lowell is bright red and highly flustered. You won't mention this to your sister, will you?
I don't know. I'm confused. I need time to think.
Think of Margaret. She would never trust me again. You don't want her to ruin our marriage, do you?
Me? I'm not the one.
Suddenly, Hamish is there, annoyed.
Hamish. David.
There you are. I told you to meet me in the gazebo.
Exterior, the garden, gazebo, day. He pulls her under the gazebo. The shadows of the pillars fall on her like prison bars. She glances at a string quartet discreetly positioned in the shadows, bows poised. Hamish drops to his knee. Alice notices an artist immortalizing the moment.
Alice Kingsley.
Hamish,
What is it?
you have a caterpillar on your shoulder.
He frantically brushes at his shoulder.
Don't hurt it.
Alice lets the caterpillar crawl onto her finger, then places it gently onto a tree branch.
You want to wash that finger.
He sees his mother motioning to him from below. Everyone is watching. He blurts out,
Alice Kingsley, will you be my wife?
The question hangs in the air. Unsure of herself, unsure of her future, unsure of her own sanity in that moment. Alice stammers,
Well, everyone expects me to, and you're Lord, and my face won't last, and I don't want to end up like. But this is happening too quickly. I think.
She sees the white rabbit leaning against a pillar, glaring at her with undisguised impatience.
Need a moment.
She turns and runs. Exterior, the meadow, day, continued. She follows the white rabbit across the meadow.
Wait!
She loses sight of him. She peeks over the hedgerow. No rabbit. Stumped, she looks around. A white paw reaches up and grasps her by the ankle. With a quick jerk, it pulls her down into the rabbit hole. She screams. Down the rabbit hole and keeps screaming as she tumbles head over heels down the hole. She frantically grabs the walls, which are hung with paintings, ancient maps, cracked mirrors, demonic masks, etc. She pulls out books, jam jars, a crystal ball, a badger claw, a monkey's hand, and a human skull in her frantic effort to stop herself. And down she falls. It begins to grow dark as the day passes into night, and she still falls. Finally, after what seems like hours, interior, the round hall, day. Wham! She hits the bottom, smacking her head on a wooden floor.
Ah!
Wind knocked out, she gasps for air. Then she sits up, rubbing the bump on her forehead. She's in a round hall with many doors. She gets up and tries the door. It's locked. She tries another one, and another. She knocks.
Hello? Hello? Anyone there?
No answer. She moves around the hall, every door locked. She sees a three-legged glass table with a small key sitting on top. She picks up the key and tries it in a door. It's too small for the lock. She tries it again in a few doors, too small. She comes upon a curtain and pulls it aside to reveal a little door about 2 feet high. She tries the key in the door. It fits. She opens the little door, and bends down to look through to the other side. Through the small door, she sees a garden with a fountain. She tries to fit through the door, but her shoulders get stuck. She pulls back, stumped. She goes back to the table and replaces the key. But now there's a bottle on the table. She looks for the person who put it there.
Is someone here?
She looks at a label. Drink me. She sniffs the contents, recoils, then shrugs.
It's only a dream.
She takes a drink, shudders, gags, and coughs from the taste. In a moment, she notices that the table is getting larger.
That's curious.
Alice shrinks to 2 feet high. Her point of view, the doors loom above her. She takes a step and trips on her now oversized clothes. Dragging them behind, she tries to open the door, but it's still locked. She groans as she realizes what she's done. She goes back to the glass table where she can see the gold key sitting on top. Cut to on Alice through a keyhole. We hear voices as they watch Alice through a keyhole.
Think she would remember this from the first time.
You've brought the wrong Alice.
He's the right one, I'm certain of it.
Interior, the round hall continued. Alice attempts to climb the table leg, but gets tangled in her 2 big clothes and slides off. She notices a little box under the table. She looks around for the unseen person.
If this is some sort of prank, I am not amused.
She opens the box. It's a cake with "Eat Me" written out in ornate icing. She considers, looks up at the key high above on the table. She takes a tiny taste of the cake. She takes another bite. Whoosh! She shoots upward rapidly. Her clothes fit again, but she keeps growing. Buttons pop, seams are strained, and her skirt gets shorter. The ceiling gets closer, her head grazes it. She stops. Relieved, she bends down and picks up the gold key. Crouching, she goes to the little door and fits the key in the lock. On Alice, their point of view.
She's the wrong Alice.
Give her a chance.
Interior, the round hall. She laughs at herself and goes back to the table. She picks up the little bottle and takes another swallow, shivers at the taste, then drinks again to 2 feet high. Dragging her 2 big clothes, she runs to the door, puts the key in the lock, opens it and steps through. Exterior, a garden in Underland. Day. She enters a fantastical world. Underland is bizarre, illogical, often dangerous, absurd, and strangely beautiful. The garden is brown and tangled, its statues broken and overgrown. The mossy fountain is silent. Alice hears a bellow, sneezing sound as a green pig dashes past. The tall flowers have gaunt, haunted human faces. Shabby, thin birds walk on stalk legs. Dragonflies, horseflies, and enormous gnats do fierce battle in the sky above.
Curiouser and curiouser.
I told you, Alice.
She turns to see a dodo bird with eyeglasses and a walking stick, the white rabbit, a young female dormouse, and breeches, and 2 round boys with their arms thrown over each other's shoulders. Dee and Dum are stitched on their collars.
I am not convinced.
The white rabbit throws up his hands.
How is that for gratitude? I've been up there for weeks, trailing one Alice after the next, and I was almost eaten by the other animals. Can you imagine? They go about entirely unclothed, and they do their shookum in public. I had to avert my eyes.
She doesn't look anything like herself. That's because she's the wrong Alice.
And if she was, she might be.
But if she isn't, she ain't.
But if she were so, she would be.
But she isn't. Know how?
How can I be the wrong Alice when it's my dream? And who are you, if I may ask?
Dee shakes her hand, speaking very fast.
I'm Tweedledee, he's Tweedledum.
Contrariwise, I'm Tweedledum and he's Tweedledee.
We should consult Absalom.
Exactly. Absalom will know who she is.
Tweedledee puts out his arm to her.
I'll escort you. Dum
pulls her away from Dee.
It's not being your turn.
They tug her between them.
Leave off. Let go.
Are they always this way?
Family trait.
Dee takes one arm.
You can both escort her.
Dee takes one arm, Dum takes the other, and Alice, the Tweedles, the Dodo, White Rabbit, and Dormouse start off. The human-faced flowers gossip about Alice as they pass.
It can't be her. She looks nothing like Alice. She's not even wearing the right dress.
Who is this Absalom?
He's wise. He's
He's Absalom.
Exterior, the mushroom forest, day. They enter a forest of tall mushrooms surrounded by mist.
Who are you?
Alice can see a form ahead where the mist rises in a steady plume. It's coming from a hookah. There's a blue caterpillar smoking it. Well, the white rabbit pushes Alice toward him.
Absalom?
You're not Absalom. I'm Absalom. The question is, who are you?
He blows smoke rings in her face. She coughs.
Alice.
We shall see.
What do you mean by that? I ought to know who I am.
Oh, yes, you ought. Stupid girl. Unroll the Oraculum.
The white rabbit unrolls an ancient parchment lying on a toadstool.
The Oraculum, being a calendrical compendium of Underland.
Alice looks. It's a timeline depicting the major events of each day. Every day has a title and an illustration.
It's a calendar.
Compendium. It tells of each and every day since the beginning.
Today is Gribbling Day in the time of the Red Queen.
He points to the illustration. Close on the oraculum, it shows all of them, including Alice, peering at the oraculum at the exact moment. Exterior, the mushroom forest continued.
Show her the frabjous day.
White Rabbit turns the scroll further into the future.
Prodigious Day being the day you slay the Jabberwocky.
Sorry, slay the what?
Close on the oraculum, her point of view. The illustration is animated. The Jabberwocky is tall as a dinosaur, reptilian wings, scales, long, sharp claws, a pronged tail, and a vest. It hisses. A knight with long blonde hair and chainmail fights him with a shining sword.
That being you there with the Vorpal sword.
No of our swords can kill the Jabberwocky. No how.
If it isn't Vorpal, then he isn't dead.
As she swings the sword, she reveals her face to the readers. The girl is unmistakably Alice, with bloodlust in her eye. Exterior, the mushroom forest continued. Alice backs away.
It's not me.
I know!
Resolve this for us, Absalom. Is she the right Alice?
The caterpillar looks Alice in the eye.
Not hardly.
He blows smoke, obliterating himself from view.
I told you.
Oh dear.
I said so. No, I said so. Contrawise, you said she might be. No, you said she would be if she was.
Little imposter! Pretending to be Alice, she should be ashamed.
I was so certain of you.
They all glare at her as if it is somehow her fault.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be the wrong Alice. Wait. This is my dream. I'm going to wake up now and you'll disappear.
She closes her eyes and pinches herself. She opens them again. The animals are still there.
That's curious.
She pinches herself again. The animals just look at her.
Pinching usually does the trick.
The dormouse pulls a long, sharp hat pin from her scabbard.
I could stick you if that would help.
It might actually. Thank you.
My pleasure.
She stabs her in the ankle with relish. Alice yelps. But instead of a small sound, a thunderous roar is heard and the Bandersnatch smashes through a high wall.
Bandersnatch!
It has a huge furry body with the head of a rabid bulldog. Drool oozes from his squashed muzzle. His fur is caked with blood and filth. His teeth are shark-like and broken, stained with blood. A foul stench emanates from him. Everyone scatters, but they're intercepted by red knights wearing the Red Queen's crest, a heart in flames. The knights capture the fleeing animals. A pig and a flamingo are caught and thrown into a caged wagon. The dodo gets away. A knight grabs the white rabbit by his leg, lifting him up.
I do not enjoy being
He's tossed into the caged wagon with the others. Exterior, the garden path continued. Alice runs. The Bandersnatch thunders after her. She stops.
Wait, it's only a dream. Nothing can hurt me.
She turns around to face it. Dormouse watches from behind a tree.
What's she doing?
The Bandersnatch opens its drooling muzzle to eat Alice.
Can hurt me, can hurt me.
Run, you great log!
The Dormouse groans. She leaps onto the Bandersnatch, pulls herself up hand over hand to its shoulder and drives her hat pin into its eye. It bellows. She tries to pull the hat pin out, but the whole eye pops out. Bandersnatch howls and whips around, raking Alice's arm with its long claws. She runs. Exterior, the mushroom forest, on the oraculum. A large hand with red birthmark reaches down and picks up the abandoned oraculum. The grim knave of hearts, Ilusovic stain, has a flaming red birthmark which covers half his face and hands. He looks through the scroll and sees something that alarms him. He tucks it into his saddlebag and rides away. Exterior, the crosslane, day. Alice runs down the path, but it diverges in two directions. A road sign points south to Snud. and east to Queast.
This way, east to Queast.
No, south to Snot.
He pulls her one way, Tweedledee pulls her the other. There's an ear-splitting screech. The enormous Jub-Jub bird lands in front of them. It's part monkey-eating eagle and part ostrich. It makes a Jub-Jub sound as it snatches the Tweedles in its claws and takes flight. Exterior with the Jub-Jub bird. The Jub-Jub flies over the barren red earth of Crims with the Tweedles in its claws towards Salazin Grum and the castle of the Red Queen on the shore of the Crimson Sea. Her flag with the heart in flames flies atop the spires. Interior, the Red Queen's great hall, throne room, day. A long hall is lined with frog footmen with a fish butler. The Red Queen's angry scream comes from behind closed doors. The doors bang open to reveal Erisabeth, the Red Queen. She has a huge oversized head, extremely large features, and bright red hair.
Someone stole 3 of my tots.
She leans into the face of a frog.
Did you steal them? No, Your Majesty.
She walks the row, studying the face of each frog. At the end, she whirls to leer into the face of one terrified frog.
Did you steal my tots?
No, Your Majesty.
She wipes a telltale bit of jam from the side of its mouth. She holds her finger up and sniffs the juice.
Squimberry juice.
I was so hungry.
Off with his head!
No,
The red knights
please.
converge onto the guilty frog.
I have little ones to look after.
The knights drag him out. The queen turns to the fish butler.
Go to his house and collect the little ones. I love tadpoles on my toast points almost as much as I love caviar.
The fish butler suppresses his revulsion and anger.
Majesty.
The queen's face lights up to see him. She turns flirty.
Ilsevik Stain, you knave. Where have you been lurking?
She holds out her hand. He kisses it, barely. She sighs.
Majesty, I found the oraculum.
He lays it on a table and rolls it out.
That? It looks so ordinary for an oracle.
Look, here, on the frabjous day.
He points to the illustration of Alice in the scroll.
I'd know that mess of tangled hair anywhere. Is it Alice?
I believe it is.
What is she doing with my darling Jabberwocky?
She appears to be slaying it.
She killed my Jabberwocky!
Not yet, but it will happen if we don't stop her.
Find Alice Stain. Find her.
I will bring her head and lay it at your feet.
No, bring the whole girl. I want to do it myself.
He nods. Exterior near the stables, later. Stain sits on his horse as the knights hold a growling bloodhound, Bayard, bound by a spiked collar and heavy ropes.
Find the scent of the human girl and earn your freedom.
For my wife and pups as well.
Everyone goes home.
He puts his nose to the ground and leads the knights off. Stain strokes his horse's neck.
Dogs will believe anything.
Exterior, the Tolgi Wood day continued. Still running, Alice stops to look at the gashes on her arm.
It looks like you ran afoul of something with wicked claws.
She sees the disembodied head of a cat hovering midair.
And I'm still dreaming. What did that to you? Banner or Bandersnatch? The Bandersnatch? I better have a look.
The cat disappears, then reappears as a whole cat. Chesser is all calm, casual sensuality with a seductive grin. He inspects the wound, then tries to lick it.
What are you doing? It needs to be purified by someone with evaporating skills or it'll fester and putrefy. I'll be fine as soon as I wake up. At least let me bind it for you.
She allows him to use his handkerchief to bind the wound.
What do you call yourself?
Alice.
Me, Alice?
I'm not going into that again.
I never get involved in politics. You best be on your way.
What way?
All I want to do is wake up from this dream.
Fine, I'll take you to the Hare and the Hatter, but that's the end of it.
He disappears suddenly. She looks around. He reappears ahead.
Coming?
There's nothing else for her to do but follow. Exterior, House of the March Hare, day. The house is part hare, part house. The chimneys are ears. The roof is thatched with fur. The picket fence is rabbit feet, doorknob, and a bunny tail. The windows are pink rabbit eyes that look round and blink. The tea party has been going on for years. The tea set is an odd admixture of cracked pots and chipped cups. The tablecloth is stained and threadbare. The chair is lopsided. The Mad Hatter slumps in one of them, staring into space, pale and morose. Even his clothes reflect his gloomy mood. He always wears a ragged and scorched top hat. Paranoid and anxious, the March Hare constantly wrings his paws and long ears. The Dormouse has arrived ahead of Alice. She wears the Bandersnatch eye on her wrist, at her waist. The Hare house taps the March Hare on his head.
What? Where? Who's there?
The Cheshire Cat strolls in with Alice. At sight of her, the Hatter bolts upright. He brightens. His clothes even perk up. Transfixed, he moves towards her, the shortest route being across the top of the table. He comes close, studying her intently.
Your hair wants cutting. It's you.
No, it's not. McTwist brought us the wrong Alice.
It's absolutely Alice. You're absolutely Alice. I know you anywhere. I'd know him anywhere.
He shakes her head and pulls her back over the top of the table. She tries not to step on any teacups. He plunks her down in the chair next to his.
Well, as you can see, we're still having tea. It's all because I was obliged to kill time waiting for your return. You're terribly late, you know, naughty. Well, anyway, I became quite offended and stopped altogether. Not a tick ever since.
Time can be funny in dreams.
Yes, of course. But now you are back, you see. And we need to get Average Day. I'm investigating things that begin with the letter M. Have you any idea why a raven is like a writing desk?
Hare, Hatter, and Dormouse clasp their hands high.
Don was
Sorry?
Down with the bloody big head. Bloody big head being the Red Queen.
It's a secret language used by us, the Underland Underground Resistance.
Come. We simply must commence with the slaying and such. Therefore, it's time to forgive and forget. Or forget and forgive, whichever comes first. Or in any case, most convenient. I'm waiting.
The March Hare taps his watch, listens to it, dips it into his teacup, listens again.
It's ticking again.
The cat puts his teacup down with disgust.
All this talk of blood and slaying has put me off my tea.
The entire world is falling to ruin and poor Jester's off his tea.
What happened that day was not my fault.
Suddenly enraged, the Hatter slams both hands on the table. Cups and teapots go flying.
You ran out on them to save your own skin. You got a Scottish pilgrim licking.
The Cheshire Cat puts his paws over Alice's ears. The Hatter keeps cursing faster and faster. He can't stop himself.
Cookum juggling, slucking her paws bar long end of Brenda.
Hatter!
The Hatter jerks. He pulls himself back to the moment.
Thank you. I'm fine.
What's wrong with you, Tarrant? You used to be the life of the party. You used to do the best flutter whacking in all of Wits End.
It's a dance.
Oh, the Fabrice Day, when the White Queen once again wears the crown. On that day, I'll flutter whacking vigorously.
They glare at each other like estranged brothers. The Hare house taps March Hare on the shoulder again.
What? The knave? Hide her!
Cheshire Cat disappears. Hatter picks up a small bottle.
Drink this.
Oh no.
They force the liquid down her. She shrinks to 6 inches high. They shove her into the teapot and cram her now over large clothes in behind her. The Hatter closes the lid.
Mind your head.
Interior, the teapot, day. It's dim inside, except for a stream of light from the spout. Exterior, the tea party, day, continued. The Hatter does a headstand in his chair. The dormouse climbs into a soup tureen. The hare lays on the table. Following his nose, Bloodhound leads Stain and 2 red knights in.
Well, if it's not my favorite trio of lunatics.
You're all late for tea!
The March hare throws a teapot in them.
We're looking for the girl called Alice.
The Bloodhound sniffs around the table.
Speaking of the Queen, here's a song we sang at her soiree. Twinkle,
Twinkle, twinkle, little bat, how I wonder where you're at.
Stain grabs the Hatter around the neck. Knight 1 cracks hair with his weapon. Knight 2 pours hot tea on the Dormouse's head.
You're hiding her. You'll lose your heads.
Already lost them. All sing together now. Hop above the
world to fly like
a tea train in the sky.
Interior, the teapot, Alice's point of view. Alice peeks out the spout. Hare, Hatter, and Dormouse sing on despite being hit, choked, and dunked.
Twinkle, 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 twinkle.
The Bloodhound puts its paws on the table, sniffing Alice's teapot. The Hatter takes a chance. He whispers to him,
Down wall with bloody big head.
The Bloodhound stops dead. Hatter shoots a look at the teapot. The Bloodhound drops to the ground and sniffs, pretending to catch a new trail.
Follow the Bloodhound.
The knights go off. Stain lingers suspiciously.
You're all mad.
Hatter, Hare, Dormouse laugh hysterically. The knave goes off. The Hare and Dormouse stop laughing, but the Hatter's laughter goes on and on.
I'm fine. Really, I'm fine.
Exterior, the tea party, day, continuous. He lifts the teapot head, but closes it again.
Sorry, one moment.
He takes a pair of milliner's scissors from his pocket and quickly whips up a miniature ensemble for Alice out of the tea cozy, a doily and a swatch of her old dress. He lifts the lid again and hands it to her.
Try this on for size.
He closes the lid again to give her privacy. In a moment, there's a tiny knock on the lid. He opens it and helps her out in her remade clothes.
Oh, sorry. It's the best I could do, I'm afraid. Not half bad.
The Bloodhound is one of us, or you'd be...
She draws her finger across her throat ominously.
Best take her to Marmariel. She'll be safe with the White Queen.
Can she help me wake up?
She doesn't put you to sleep?
He sweeps his hat off and puts it on the table.
Your carriage, milady.
The hat.
Anyone can go by horse or rail, but the absolute best way to travel is by hat. Oh, I've just made a rhyme.
Alice sits on it, nervous and unsure of the hat and the Hatter. The Dormouse sits on it too, shoving Alice over.
Sorry, Mally. Just Alice.
She climbs off, annoyed. The Hatter puts his hat on.
Fair, fair and all.
They start off. The Dormouse watches them go jealously.
But you haven't had your tea.
Mind your head.
The teapot hurtles toward them. Alice ducks. Exterior, the Tolgi woods, traveling by hat. Alice hangs on tight as the Hatter walks at a jaunty pace.
'Twas brilling and the silthy toves did gyre and gimble in the way. On mimsy were the bur groves and the mown raths outgrabe.
She hops down to his shoulder.
Sorry, what was that?
Sorry, what was that? The Jabberwock with eyes of flame, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Beware of the Jabberwock, my son, and the frumious Bandersnatch. He took his vorpal sword in hand, the vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went galumping back. It's all about you, you know.
I'm not slaying anything. I don't slay, so put it out of your mind.
My.
He drops her to the ground and walks on. She follows.
Wait, you can't leave me here.
You don't slay, you say you. Do you have any idea what the Red Queen has done? You don't slay.
I couldn't if I wanted to.
You're not the same as you were before. You were much more muchier. You've lost your muchness.
My muchness?
He pokes her in the stomach with his finger.
In there. Something's missing.
He walks away again. She frowns and runs after him.
Tell me what the Red Queen has done.
It's not a pretty story.
Tell me anyway.
He picks her up, plunks her on her back on his shoulder, and pushes through the foliage, which becomes blackened and twisted. Exterior, the tulgey wood on the blackened place. They come to a place where the ground is scorched and barren. His voice goes hoarse with emotion as he begins the tale.
I was hatter to the Queen at the time. The high-top clan have always been employed at court.
His narration fades, and we see the story unfold. Exterior, the tulgey wood, the Horenvendish day. The hatter stands with his clan, the high tops. Everyone, adults and children, wear top hats. The mood is festive. The White Queen sits on her white horse with other members of her court, including the White Rabbit, March Hare, Cheshire Cat. The White Knight holds the shining vorpal sword. The woods turn dark as enormous leathery wings block the sun. Faces fill with awe as they watch the fearsome creature. The knight, stunned by its magnitude, drops the sword and flees. Panic ensues. People run as the Jabberwocky shoots fire at them. The Queen's horse rears. The hatter grabs the reins and leads her to safety. He looks back. The White Rabbit helps others escape. The March Hare looks up, shocked into paralysis. The Cheshire Cat hovers near the high-top clan, who stand together to protect the children, but as the Jabberwocky descends upon them, the cat disappears. The knave picks up the fallen sword. He lifts it victoriously, and the Jabberwocky retreats. A moment later, the hatter returns to the scene, face filled with shock and horror at the place where his clan took their stand. The earth still smolders. Only one burned and trampled hat remains. He tosses his own hat away, picks up the burned one, brushes the soot off, and places it firmly on his head. Exterior, the woods, Alice and the hatter. Alice is deeply moved. She looks up at the scorched hat he still wears, then to his tormented face. He twitches, driven to the edge of madness by guilt, helpless rage, and divine loss.
Hatter? Hatter?
He jerks and pulls himself back from the abyss.
I'm fine. Just fine, really.
Are you?
Did you hear that? I'm certain I heard something.
Voices?
He looks back at the dark woods.
Red Knights.
They hear the bay of the bloodhound. He puts Alice into his breast pocket and runs. Exterior, the tulgey wood, dusk. Hatter dodges trees and leaps over stumps. He sees the edge of the woods ahead, but there's a flash of red through the trees. He turns. A red knight steps out. He turns the other way, another red knight. They're surrounded, eyeing them warily. He whispers to Alice.
Go south to Graham's Bluff. The White Queen's castle is just beyond.
Hatter sweeps his hat off, as if in conciliatory gesture to the approaching knights. He whispers to Alice.
Jump on the hat, now.
She takes a leap onto the hat. The hatter flings his arm wide, sending the hat and Alice sailing over the treetops.
Down with the bloody Red Queen!
She clings to the brim of the hat as it sails off out of the woods. Exterior, the edge of tulgey wood, sunset. The hat lands in the soft grass. Alice looks back at the forest and then south toward gently rolling hills. It's getting dark and there are strange night sounds out there. She slips under the relative safety of the hat for the night. Interior, under the hat, the next morning. Alice wakens to the sound of something large sniffing outside the hat. She sits up. Suddenly, the hat is flipped over, exposing her. She closes her eyes for the end. A big, wet nose sniffs her. She opens her eyes. It's the bloodhound, Bayard.
You turncoat? You were supposed to lead them away. The Hat had trusted you.
They have my wife and pups.
That information does little to lessen her anger.
What's your name?
Bayard.
Sit.
He cocks his head and looks at her curiously.
Sit.
He sits, amused if nothing else. Something occurs to him.
Would your name be Alice by any chance?
Yes, but I'm not that one.
The Hatter would not have given himself up for any Alice.
Where did I take him?
To the Red Queen's castle at Salazan Grum.
She looks at his worn hat, remembering the pain in his eyes.
We're going to rescue him.
That is not foretold.
I don't care. He wouldn't be there if it weren't for me.
The Frabjous day is almost upon us. You must prepare to meet the Jabberwocky.
I have had quite enough. Since the moment I fell down the rabbit hole, I've been told what I must do and who I must be. I've been shrunk, stretched, and stuffed into a teapot. I've been accused of being Alice and of not being Alice, but this is my dream. I'll decide how it goes from here.
If you diverge from the path,
I make the path.
She's so commanding he lies down at her feet. She climbs up his long ear and sits on his shoulders.
Take me to Salazan Grum, and don't forget the hat.
The bloodhound picks up the hat in his teeth and runs. Alice hangs on to his spiked collar to keep her seat. Exterior, Gummer slow, day. Bayard wades through the viscous red mud with Alice on his back. He holds his head high to keep the hat out of the mud. Exterior, Crim's day. Bayard races across the red desert to Salazan Grum and the dark castle that sits on the tempestuous shore. Exterior, Salazan Grum, castle of the Red Queen. The walls are high and foreboding with a surrounding moat. Exterior, the castle walls, day. They approach the moat and they see large, lumpish objects which appear to be the heads of the executed. They look around for a way across.
There's only one way across.
Alice looks at the grim moat. She takes a deep breath for courage.
Lost my muchness, have I?
Exterior, the grim moat, day, continued. She jumps onto one of the floating heads, then crosses the moat by jumping from head to head. Reaching the other side, she vomits onto the ground. She looks up at the impossibly high wall, then sees a small cracked opening near the ground, just wide enough for a 6-inch girl. She squeezes through it. In a moment, her head reappears. She calls across to Bayard.
Bayard, the hat.
He picks the hat up within his teeth, turns in circles like a discus thrower, and releases it. The hat sails across the moat and over the wall. Bayard bays his farewell. Exterior, the Queen's garden, the bushes, day, continued. Alice finds herself in the bushes at the edge of the garden. She hears a loud whack, a small cry of pain, then cheers and laughter. She looks through the bushes. Exterior, the great lawn, day, continued. The Queen and her courtiers play croquet. The Queen, with her huge head, is surrounded by 3 powdered and painted courtiers with equally outsized body parts. A woman with an extra-large nose, another with long hanging ears, a man with a huge protruding belly. The Queen swings her mallet. There's that small cry again. Alice looks around for the source. The ball rolls toward her and lays, furry and gasping, in the grass. It's a hedgehog, tied by its 4 legs into an awkward ball. Its fur is matted and filthy, its face buried in the grass. Thwack! It cries out as it's hit again. The mount is a miserable flamingo tied by its feet. The hedgehog rolls to a stop near Alice. She attempts to untie it. It cries out fearfully.
Shh, I want to help you.
Where's my ball? Paige?
Alice frees the hedgehog. It stares at her mutely before stumbling into the foliage. Alice sees 2 large white furry feet. Her gaze travels up to the white rabbit, dressed as a court page. Exterior, the bushes. He looks down at tiny Alice.
Well, if it isn't the wrong Alice, what brings you here?
I've come for 2 reasons.
She beckons him closer. He bends down. She punches him.
That's for dragging me down here against my will.
You didn't have to hit me. Now there's going to be a bruise, isn't there?
He shows her his chin. She looks, indulging him.
No.
What's the other reason?
I'm going to rescue the Hatter.
You're not rescuing anyone being the size of a gerbil.
Do you have any of that cake that made me grow before?
Oh, Palkuchin, actually, I might have some left.
He digs in his pocket and takes out a large piece of the cake. She takes it and shoves it into her mouth.
Not all of it.
Too late. Alice shoots upward. Buttons fly off her torn garments. Seams strain and give way.
Oh no, stop, don't do that.
She grows right out of the shreds of her remaining clothes until she bursts through the bushes, stark, raving nude. Exterior, the great lawn, day continued. Alice looks down at the Red Queen and her courtiers. The tall bushes hide all but her head and shoulders. Everyone stares.
And what is this?
The rabbit comes out, improvising like mad.
It's, who, Majesty? This is,
From Umbridge.
What happened to your garments?
I outgrew them. I tower everyone in Umbridge. They laugh at me. So I've come to you, hoping you might understand what it's like.
Oh, my dear girl. Anyone with a head that large is welcome in my court.
The courtiers with their equally outsized body parts laughed.
Someone find some clothes. Use the draperies if you must, but clothe this enormous girl. You'll be my new favorite.
The courtiers exchange competitive glances, especially Lady Long Ears. Interior, the Red Queen's castle. Great hall, throne room. Day 51. Day. It's not 51, it's page 51, sorry. Large. Alice, clad in hastily constructed garments, proceeds with the Queen down the great hall toward the throne room. Along with the foot frogs, monkeys hold up the tables and chairs with their arms and heads. Exhausted birds flap their wings to stay aloft with lamps hung from their beaks. The Queen flops down on her ornate throne. Spider monkeys serve as legs of the throne. They strain under the weight. The Queen kicks off her shoes.
I need a pig here.
A small pig hurries over and lays down belly up. She puts her feet on his belly and sighs.
Oh, I love warm pig belly for my aching feet. Sit, sit.
Alice sits, trying to keep her weight off the chair held up by monkeys. The Queen waves her hand at the three courtiers.
Go away.
The courtiers go out with dark, jealous looks at Alice.
Where are my fat boys? You must meet them. Fat boys!
The Tweedles come in. They're bound together by a gold belt around their waists. Their faces have been painted and powdered with hearts on their cheeks and red heart lips. Their eyes are lowered, downtrodden.
Oh, there they are. Aren't they adorable? They just have the oddest way of speaking. Speak, boys. Amuse us.
She kicks Tweedledum.
Speak!
Dum lifts his eyes and sees Alice. He nudges Dee.
Is that being?
Alice
Oh,
lifts
it
a finger to
isn't.
her lips.
Not a bit.
But Tweedledum didn't see Alice's gesture.
Contrary-wise, I believe it is so.
No, it ain't so, no how.
He stomps on Dum's foot to silence him. Dum pinches him. Dee pinches him back. The Queen laughs raucously.
Oh, I love my fat boys. Now get out.
They go out. Stain enters. The Queen blinks her eyes seductively at him. Stain represses a shudder.
There you are, Stain. Any luck with the prisoner?
He's stubborn.
Oh, you're too soft. Bring him.
The lights go off. Stain notices Alice.
And who is this lovely creature?
He takes Alice's hand, looking at her intensely.
My new favorite.
Does she have a name? Yes, her name?
It's,
I believe your name has slipped the Queen's mind.
She smacks him.
Her name is you dolt.
Knave reacts with a smoldering anger.
From Umbridge.
Ilsevik Stain, at your service.
He kisses her hand. She pulls it away quickly. The guards drag the Hatter in, chained by hands and feet. The Queen lifts his head by his hair. Alice stifles a gasp. He's been roughed up. His eyes have an empty, faraway stare.
We know Alice has returned to Underland. Do you know where she is?
He doesn't respond. She clasps her hands in front of his face. Hatter jerks back the moment, but doesn't see Alice.
considering things that begin with the letter M. Moron. Mutiny. Murder. Alice.
We're looking for an A word now. Where is Alice?
He thinks hard, has an inspiration, changes his mind, reconsiders, mulls, then shrugs.
Who? That wee little boy? I wouldn't know.
What if I take off your head? Will you know then?
She laughs. The Hatter laughs louder and keeps laughing.
Stop that.
He laughs louder in her face. She slaps him. He keeps laughing madly. Queen makes a loco motion to the others, but when the Hatter sees Alice, the mad laughter stops. Surprised at her new size, he gives her a wry smile. He turns to the Queen, smarmy and unctuous.
My, what a regrettably large head you have. I should very much like to hat it.
Hat it?
Yes. I used to hat the White Queen, you know. But there wasn't very much for me to work with, poor dear. Her head is so small.
It's tiny. A pimple of a head.
But this, what I could do with this monument, this orb, nay, this magnificently heroic globe.
What could you do?
He lifts his bound hands helplessly.
Unbind him, Stain. How can he work if his hands are bound?
The knave unbinds his hands. The Hatter circles the Queen.
Shall it be a bonnet or a bow tie? Or something for the boudoir? A cloche, dunce hat, death cap, coif, snood, babouche, or pudgy, yarmulke, cockle hat, pork pie, tam, a shanta, billycock, bacon, tribe, corn, bun door, bun grace, fantail, nightcat, garbage, fez.
Alice pretends to sneeze. He jerks back to the moment.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Leave us.
The knave is suspicious of the Hatter, but his interest in Alice draws him away. Interior, the hall continued. He's right behind Alice, breathing down her neck. She tries to move past him, but he grabs her arm with the wound. She cries out as he pushes her against the wall.
I like you, I like 'em large.
He leans in for a kiss just as Lady Longears passes. She smiles and goes off.
Get away from me.
She kicks him and runs. He glares after her. Exterior, Marmoreal, Grandpa's Bluffs. Day. Bayard crosses the bluffs and approaches the White Queen's castle. Interior, the White Queen's courtyard. Day. Morana, the White Queen, waits for Bayard as he staggers inside.
What news, Bayard?
Bliss has returned to Underland.
A smile lights up the Queen's soft, lovely face.
Where is she now?
In Salazar Grump. Forgive me. I allowed her to divert from her destined path.
Well, that is exactly where she will find the vorpal sword. We have our champion. Rest now.
Exhausted, he falls to the ground. Exterior, the Red Queen's castle, the garden. Alice searches in the bushes, passing the hedgehog, who's cleaning the caked dirt off his fur. The hedgehog watches Alice pick up the hat. She wipes the mud off and straightens it out with loving care. Interior, Red Queen's bedchamber, evening. The Queen stands at the window.
You must find Alice, Stain. Without the Jabberwocky, my sister's followers will surely rise against me. My ugly little sister. Why do they adore her and not me?
Stain comes up behind but does not touch her.
I cannot fathom it. You are far superior in all ways.
Oh, I know. But Morana can make anyone fall in love with her. Men, women, even the furniture.
She glances at the captive animals/furniture.
Even the king.
Her dark, bitter gaze travels down the grim moat below.
I had to do it. He would have left me.
Majesty, isn't it better to be feared than loved?
I'm not certain anymore. Oh, let her have the rebel. I don't need them. I have you.
She leans her large head back, her eyes big and dewy.
I do have you, don't I, say?
He manages a smile, but gives her no reply. Interior, the Red Queen's dressing room, night. The Hatter hums as he works with ribbons, bows, veils, and feathers. Alice enters a room full of huge, colorful hats.
They're wonderful. You must let me try one on.
He puts a hat on her. She poses like a grand lady. She puts one on him. He poses like a grand lady too. They laugh.
Good to be working out my trade again.
It's just a pity you had to make them for her.
Realizing what he's done, he's suddenly filled with remorse and self-recrimination. His clothes slump as well.
What's the Hatter with me? Hatter.
Fury seizes him. He takes scissors and murderously attacks the hat, cutting it to shreds, then another and another.
Stop, stop.
She takes his face in her hands, forcing him to look at her.
Hatter.
Looking into his eyes, she can see the fear in them.
Have you any idea why a raven is like a writing desk? I'm frightened, Alice. I don't like it in here. It's terribly crowded. Have I gone mad?
She feels his forehead like her father did years ago.
I'm afraid so. You're entirely bonkers. But I'll tell you a secret. All the best people are.
He straightens his shoulders with pride. His clothes puff up.
Oh, look. Here's another one.
He picks up his hat from behind a box. It's his very own high-top hatter's hat. His eyes fill with emotion to see it. She puts it on his head.
That's better. You look yourself again.
He's too overwhelmed to speak. He takes it off and holds it to his heart with gratitude.
Hatman, where are my hats? I am not a patient monarch.
Her grating voice reminds him of his purpose.
I am told she keeps the Vorpal sword hidden in the castle. Find it, Alice. Take it to the White Queen. Help us make the world right again.
She glances at the long, thick chain from his ankle to the wall and considers another use for the sword.
We'll go to the White Queen together.
He takes her hand. There's a moment between them that might have been something more if it weren't for her large size.
Why is it that you're always too small or too tall?
Interior, Red Queen's castle, upstairs hall, night. Alice approaches the Tweedles, who are stationed on either side of the Queen's courtroom door.
Tweedles. Hi.
Alice!
They shake her hands vigorously.
How'd do again?
Where's...
How is it you're being so great big?
She ain't great big. This is how she normal is.
Where's the...
I'm certain she is smaller when we met her.
She drank the pish salver to get through the door, recall it?
She puts her hands over their mouths.
Where's the rabbit?
Over there.
Over there!
They point in opposite directions. Interior, Red Queen's castle, a hall, night. Alice follows the Tweedles. She sees the Dormouse dressed as a chambermaid. She's whispering with the White Rabbit.
What are you doing here?
I'm rescuing the Hatter.
I'm rescuing the Hatter. But you can help. He told me that the Vorpal sword is hidden in the castle. That means someone must have seen it. A foot frog, a chamber mouse, a pig stool, someone. Ask them all. Go.
Tweedles go off. The Dormouse and White Rabbit remain.
I don't take orders from being clumsy, galloping.
Alice looms over her. She points imperiously.
Shoo!
Humiliated, but outsized, the Dormouse stalks off. The White Rabbit is still there.
What is it, McTwisp?
I know where the sword is.
Why didn't you say so?
You'll hit me again.
Hit you.
Exterior, the stables, night. They stand in front of the stables.
The sword's hidden inside.
Alice opens the door. They both react to the stench.
I know that smell.
She looks inside the stable. On the Bandersnatch, her point of view, night. The Bandersnatch lays in his stall with his huge, ugly head on its paws. He moans. The socket with the missing eye oozes blood. Alice gasps and closes the door. The White Rabbit ducks to avoid another hit.
I'm not going in there. Look what that thing did to my arm.
She shows him the wound. It's larger, very swollen. He gasps.
Oh dear, why haven't you mentioned this?
It wasn't this bad before.
He twitches fast, breathing fast, flapping his paws and faints. Alice goes back at the door, considering. Interior, Queen's Castle, upstairs hall, night. Alice sees Malakun studying a decorative sword on the wall.
Malakun, do you still have the Bandersnatch eye?
Right here.
She hikes up her maid's skirt to reveal her breeches beneath. The Bandersnatch eye is still at her waist.
I need it.
Alice tries to take it. The Dormouse swats her hand away.
Get your own.
I need that eye, Mally.
Malakun draws her hat-pin sword, brandishing it dangerously.
Come and get it.
She's much smaller than Alice with a tiny weapon. Alice laughs. Malakun realizes the absurdity.
Right.
She tosses Alice the hatpin and takes the decorative sword from the wall. She runs at Alice with the huge sword.
Ah!
Alice sidesteps her attack, then tentatively stabs at her with the hatpin. The Tweedles arrive and coach Alice.
Thrusting now. No stabbing.
Thrusting like this.
He pokes him. Dee pokes him back. They go at it as the Dormouse and Alice fight. Alice steps back and back. They pass the Queen's dressing room. Interior, the dressing room, night. The Hatter tries hats on the Queen with aloof disdain. She looks in her mirrors, which are distorted to make her head appear normal size. She preens. Hatter looks up to see Alice losing in swordplay to the Dormouse. In a moment, the battling Tweedles pass by as well. Interior, the hall, night. Malakun stands on a bureau with Alice up against the wall. Alice ducks as the sword swishes over her head. Alice sees her moment and slices the thin rope at Mally's waist, which holds the eye. It drops into her hand. Ah! She runs with it. Malakun doesn't give chase. Interior, the dressing room, night. Malakun shakes her head at the Hatter as if to say Alice is a hopeless case. Interior, Bandersnatch stable, night. Alice approaches the Bandersnatch. He growls.
I have your eye.
She holds it up. Seeing his lost eye, the Bandersnatch whines. Alice slowly lifts the bar to open the stall door and eases inside. Interior, the Bandersnatch stall, night. She holds the eye up. He growls. She puts it on the ground near him. He sniffs it, whines, pulls it closer with his paws. While he's distracted, Alice goes to the back of the stall. She sees a chest covered by a tarp. She removes the tarp to reveal an ornate metal chest secured with a large lock. Disheartened and feverish, Alice slumps to the ground. She pulls her sleeve back to look at the swollen, infected wound on her arm. She touches it with stifles a cry of pain. She glances at the Bandersnatch, still busy with his eye. Sweating and shivering, she pulls at the lock. But her vision goes dim. She blinks, shaking her head. And then the world goes black. Interior, the hall, morning. Big-nosed woman and big-belly man walk silently to the Queen's dressing room. They fidget as if they're very uncomfortable. Interior, Queen's dressing room, continuous. Once inside, they smile, gasp, and flatter.
Oh, my dear Lord, you are stunning in that hat.
The Hatter takes it off and dumps a large brimmed hat on her that covers half her face.
Her Majesty has never looked better.
Her nose falls off and lands on the Queen's shoulder. The Hatter picks it up curiously.
It smells like you've dropped something.
The woman feels for her nose, which is still there, but normal size. She gasps, grabs the fake, and turns away quickly. Hatter's eyes narrow suspiciously. He can see straps above Big Belly Man's pants, which hold his protruding belly in place. The woman turns back with her long nose reattached. Hatter laughs out loud, not a mad laugh, but with genuine amusement. They look at him.
Oh, never mind him. He's mad.
Lady Longears rushes in and whispers into the Queen's ear.
Stain!
Interior Bandersnatch stables day. Alice wakes up. The Bandersnatch looms over her. He's managed to shove the eye back into its socket. It stares upward uselessly. But he seems to feel better for having it back in place. She notices a large key on a chain hung around his neck. The key to the lock. She reaches for it. The Bandersnatch sniffs her arm and the wound he inflicted. She winces, but will not be deterred. He pulls the key off. Bandersnatch gently licks the wound. His tongue is soothing. She sighs and allows him to lick the wound clean. She looks at it. Miraculously, the infection is gone and the swelling is down. She moves it around. No pain. The Bandersnatch looks at her, one eye askew.
I suppose you think this makes us even now.
Alice fits the key into the lock on the chest and opens it. She lifts the Vorpal sword. It's made of shining silver with an ornate handle. She holds it up to the light. There are runes engraved on the blade. She carries it out of the stall, glancing back at the Bandersnatch before going out. Interior, Red Queen's Great Hall, day. The knave is on his knees before the queen, talking fast.
Forced herself on me. I told her my heart belongs to you, but she's obsessed with me.
The queen goes bright red with rage.
Off with her head!
Interior, Red Queen's dressing room, day. The Dormouse tries to pick the lock to the chain around the Hatter's ankle with her hat pin.
Stand back, Lincoln.
The Dormouse and the Hatter look up to see Alice victoriously holding the Vorpal sword high over her head.
How's this for muchness?
She brings the sword around toward the chain.
Stop! It mustn't be used for anything, but...
Stain strides in with his knights. He points at Alice.
Arrest this girl for unlawful seduction.
Hatter!
He tosses the Hatter with the decorative sword from the hall. He fights with Stain. Hatter is formidable, even chained. Mally stabs the knights with her hat pin. Alice swings the sword.
No! Take it to the White Queen!
I'm not leaving without you.
Alice, go!
Stain stops dead. He looks at her with sudden revelation.
Run!
He runs.
Seize her!
Exterior, the Red Queen's castle, day. She bursts out the back, Stain and the knights just behind. She runs, dodging knights, but they manage to surround her. She swings the sword to keep them back.
Alice, of course. But why didn't I see it? Well, it has been a long time. And you were such a little tyke then. Give me the sword.
God, you're gross. Stay back.
He distracts her as two knights come up behind.
The queen will be so pleased. She'll take great pleasure in taking off your head. I believe she wants to do the deed herself.
As the knights grab her, there's a deep, thunderous growl. The Bandersnatch runs at them, biting and snapping. They release Alice and back away. Bandersnatch lowers his head for her to climb onto his back. Stain and the knights astonished.
Downwell with bloody big head.
Exterior, the drawbridge, day. Alice and the Bandersnatch approach the open drawbridge. The knights abandon their post. They pound across. Exterior, Crim's day. Bayard waits on the nearby hill. He sees the Bandersnatch with Alice on its back. He runs out to meet them.
Oh, Alice!
Bayard, to Marmoreal.
Exterior, White Queen's castle, day. Bayard leads Alice and the Bandersnatch toward the White Queen's castle. The drawbridge lowers for them. Interior, White Queen's throne room, day. The White Queen's castle is light and airy in contrast to the oppression of her sisters. She sits on her throne. The White Knight's suit of armor stands in a prominent position. Alice enters carrying the Vorpal sword.
Welcome to Marmoreal.
Alice bows and offers her the Vorpal sword. The White Queen nods her thanks. She places the sword in the hand of the standing suit of silver armor.
The Vorpal sword is home again. The armor is complete. Now all we need is a champion.
She looks at Alice significantly. Alice drops her eyes.
You're a little taller than I thought you'd be.
Blame it on too much apple cutting.
Come with me.
Interior, the White Queen's kitchen, day, later. As they enter, a pepper mill flies across the room and hits the wall behind them.
Is the March Hare around?
You're late for soup.
He picks up a whole pot of soup and throws it. It hits the wall. Alice takes a finger to the wall for taste.
Could use some salt.
The salt shaker comes flying at her. She catches it and salts the wall. She tastes it again and kisses her fingers in a gesture of perfection. The White Queen prepares pisha salver in a pot on the stove, taking ingredients from a cupboard filled with an admixture of herbs, spices, flour, sugar, insects, shriveled fingers, eyeballs, and other odious things.
Shelver, let me think. 2 cups grape juice, a pinch of worm fat. My mother taught me how to concoct all the medicinal cures and transformational potions, a teaspoon of vanilla, urine of the horsefly, of course, buttered fingers. My sister preferred to study dominion over living things. Tell me, how does she seem to you?
Perfectly horrid.
She wasn't always that way. Well, maybe she was. And her head?
Bulbous, bloated, like a blimp.
I think she may have some kind of growth in there, something pressing on her brain. 3 coins from a dead man's pocket. 2 tablespoons wishful thinking.
You can't imagine the things that go in that place.
Oh, yes, I can. But when a champion steps forth to slay the Jabberwocky, the people will rise against her. That should do it.
She dips a tiny spoon into the pot and offers it to Alice.
Blow on the soup, the potion.
Yeah, got that.
Alice blows, takes a sip, and shrinks to her normal size.
Feel better?
Much, thank you.
There's someone who would like to speak with you.
Interior, the Red Queen's Great Hall / Throne Room Day.
Majesty, Alice has escaped.
The Queen is so angry she slaps him.
On the Bandersnatch.
She slaps him again.
With the Vorpal sword.
She slaps him yet again. He grits his teeth.
How could you let this happen?
I may have underestimated her, but we have her conspirators, the Hatter and the Dormouse.
Off of the heads!
Interior, the Red Queen's dungeon, night. A female bloodhound, BL, paces her cell as her pups shiver in the corner. Interior, the Red Queen's dungeon, Hatter's cell, night. Hatter slumped on the floor, staring off into space. Malliamkins in a large bird cage hung from the ceiling. Stain arrives with his red knights.
Hatter!
No response. A knight prods him with his truncheon.
He's round the bend. Pity, it's a bore to behead a madman. No weeping, no begging.
Why are you keeping us here? We've done nothing wrong.
Blame your husband. He left you here to rot.
You lie.
He leaps at the bar, snarling. He jumps back. The Hatter instantly has his arms around Stain's neck, squeezing. His men try to break the Hatter's grip, but the madness is in his eyes and he feels no pain. Finally, the knights free Stain. He staggers back, gasping.
Your head comes off at dawn. And that one too.
He points to the dormouse. The Hatter turns conciliatorily.
Oh, come. It's such a small, insignificant little head. Hardly seems worth the effort. Why don't you let her go? I'll give you an entertaining execution. I'll beg. I'll grovel, weep, etc.
Malliamkin's not about to be saved.
Down with the bloody big head!
She throws her hat-pin sword at Knaves. It sticks into his shoulder. He gasps and pulls it out, then forces a smile.
Have a pleasant night.
Exterior, the White Queen's topiary garden, night. Alice sees a telltale plume of smoke coming from a topiary mushroom.
Absalom?
Who are you?
I thought we'd settle this. I'm Alice, but not that one.
How do you know?
He blows smoke in her face. She coughs and waves it away.
You said so yourself.
You said you were not hardly Alice, but you're much more her now. In fact, you're almost Alice.
Even so, I couldn't slay the Jabberwocky if my life depended on it.
It will. So I suggest you keep the Vorpal sword on hand when the frabjous day arrives.
She abruptly pokes him with her finger.
No touching. There's no touching.
You seem so real. Sometimes I forget that this is all a dream.
He blows smoke at her again.
Stop doing that.
He chuckles, and his whole body jiggles like green jelly. He keeps chuckling as he obliterates himself from view. Interior, the Red Queen's dungeon, night. The Hatter cleans his hat and tries to get his sad clothes to perk up. The Cheshire Cat appears outside the bars.
I've always admired that hat.
Hello, Chess.
Since you won't be needing it anymore, would you consider bequeathing it to me?
It's a formal execution. Want to look my best.
It's a pity about all of this. I was looking forward to see you futterwhacking.
I was rather good at it.
The cat rematerializes in the cell with the Hatter.
I really do love that hat. I would wear it to all the finest occasions.
Exterior, the Red Queen's courtyard, dawn. The Hatter and the Dormouse walk toward the executioner with their heads down. The Tweedles and the White Rabbit blend in with the crowd. The Queen and Stain watch from a balcony. The beheading platform. The Hatter and Dormouse stand on the platform. The Hatter steps forward, pushing Dormouse behind him. The executioner attempts to take off his hat. He mumbles.
I want to keep it on.
Suit yourself, as long as I can get at your neck.
The Hatter places his neck on the beheading stones.
I'll be right behind you.
The White Rabbit covers his eyes.
And watch.
The executioner raises his sword. All is quiet. The sword comes down, but the accused body disappears. The Queen and Stain gasp. The sword hits the stone, jarring the executioner. The Tweedles stare in disbelief.
It's gone.
The rabbit still hasn't looked.
He was such a fine fellow.
You shut the fuck up and look at what's happening.
The rabbit looks up to see the floating head with no body attached.
I can't behead nobody if there's no body.
The Cheshire Cat's disembodied head wearing the hat floats upright and hovers in the air. He grins.
Chess, you dog!
He winks at her. They hear the Hatter's telltale laugh. He's standing on a balustrade.
Majesty, your courtiers are playing you for a fool.
He tugs on Lady Longear's ear. It comes off in his hand. Lady Longear screams. The Hatter holds the long dangling ear up.
What is that?
I'm not the only one, Majesty. Look!
She grabs Big Nose Woman's nose and pulls off. It comes off, revealing her real nose beneath.
A counterfeit nose. You should be ashamed.
May, what about that big belly you're so proud of?
He pulls up his shirt to reveal his fake belly.
Liars! Cheats! Falsifiers! Off with their heads!
To the abused and enslaved of the Red Queen's court, stand up and fight! Down with Bloody Big Head!
A frog holding a tray of tarts tosses them into the air. Other animals throw off their bonds and take up the slogan.
Down with Bloody Big Head! Down with Bloody Big Head!
Loose the Jub Bird!
There's a blood-curdling screech as the Jub Bird swoops down. He strafes the panicked onlookers indiscriminately. The Queen watches with a vengeful smile.
You're right, Stain. It is far better to be feared than loved. Prepare the Jabberwocky for battle. We're going to visit my little sister.
On the Hatter et al. The Hatter, the Dormouse, the White Rabbit, the March Hare, and the Tweedles gather to escape. Interior, the White Queen's castle, parapet evening. The White Queen, Alice, and Bayard stand on the castle walls.
I had hoped to have a champion by now.
Why don't you slay the Jabberwocky yourself? You must have the power.
In the healing arts, it is against my vows to bring harm to any living thing.
She glances down to see an ugly bug near her shoe. She shudders and secretly squashes it. Then she lifts the spyglass and sees something in the distance.
Ooh, we have company.
She gives the spyglass to Alice, her point of view on the bluffs. The Hatter, the Dormouse, the White Rabbit, and Tweedles appear over the rise. The Queen's parapet. Alice hands the spyglass to Bayard. He looks through, on the group, his point of view. His wife and pups run with the others. He's overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Exterior, White Queen's castle, courtyard, later. The group enters the castle. Bayard, Biel, and their pups leap, whine, and nuzzle each other joyfully. Alice runs to greet the Hatter. His clothes are bright and happy.
I'm so happy to see you. I thought they were going to.
So did I. But they didn't. Here I am, still in one piece, and I'm rather glad about that now that I'm seeing you again, and I would have regretted not seeing you again, especially now that you're the proper size. It's a good size, just right, in fact, a right proper Alice size.
Hatter?
He jerks and comes back to himself.
I'm fine.
Where's your hat?
The hat materializes in the air, worn by the Cheshire Cat.
Cheshire?
How's the arm, love?
All healed.
The Hatter holds out his hand for the hat. Tress returns it reluctantly.
Goodbye, sweet hat.
Exterior, the parapets that night. The Hatter sits with Alice on top of a high tower.
Why is a raven like a writing desk?
A riddle. This will be fun. Let me think about it.
You do know what tomorrow is.
The Frabbage's day. How could I forget? Oh, I wish I'd wake up.
You still think this is a dream?
Well, it can't possibly be real. This has all come from my own mind.
Which would mean that I'm not real.
No, I'm sorry to say. You're just a figment of my imagination. I would dream up someone who's half mad.
But you'd have to be half mad to dream me up.
I must be then.
They lean against each other, secure in the comfort of their own mutual madness.
I give up. Why is a raven like a writing desk?
I have no fucking idea.
I'll miss you when I wake up.
Interior, the White Queen's courtyard. Dawn, the frabjous day. The White Rabbit blows his trumpet. Ba-ba-da-ba!
Who will step forth to be champion for the White Queen?
The Hatter steps forward valiantly.
That would be I.
You have very poor evaporating skills. I should be the one.
No. It should be me.
No, me.
Dee pushes Dom behind him. The White Rabbit holds up the Oraculum and the illustration of Alice slaying the Jabberwocky. Everyone falls quiet.
No other slayer know how.
If it ain't Alice, he ain't dead.
All eyes turn to Alice. The feeling is not unlike the pressure of that moment under the gazebo.
Liz, you cannot live your life to please others. The choice must be yours, because when you step out to face that creature, you will step out alone.
Overwhelmed, she runs. Exterior, the topiary garden, later. Alice falls onto a garden bench and weeps.
Nothing was ever accomplished with tears.
Absalom?
On the leaf.
He's hanging upside down on a leaf, spinning in chrysalis.
Why are you upside down?
I've come to the end of this life.
You're going to die?
Transform.
The chrysalis begins to cover his body.
Don't go. I need your help. I don't know what to do.
I can't help you if you don't even know who you are, stupid girl.
I'm not stupid. My name is Alice. I live in London. I have a mother named Helen and a sister named Margaret. My father was Charles Kingsley. He had a vision that stretched half away around the world, and nothing ever stopped him. He would have liked it here. I'm his daughter. I'm Alice Kingsley.
Alice, at last. You were just as dim-witted the first time that you were here. You called it Wonderland, as I recall.
The name stirs a distant memory.
Wonderland.
Interior/exterior, Alice's dream. Her dream comes flooding back. She's young Alice in Wonderland. Young Alice in the room of doors. Young Alice with the Cheshire Cat. Young Alice at the Mad Tea Party. Young Alice with the Red Queen and playing cards, painting the roses red. Young Alice with the caterpillar. Exterior, topiary garden, continuous.
It wasn't a dream at all. It was a memory. This place is real, and so are you. And so is the Hatter.
Her heart leaps at that last thought.
And the Jabberwocky. Remember, the Vorpal sword knows what it wants. All you have to do is hold on to it. Farfair and Alice, perhaps I shall see you in another life.
He disappears inside the green chrysalis. Exterior, Crim's day. The Red Queen rides a black steed, Ilisovic Stain at her side. Behind them, the Red Queen's army marches steadily across the red desert. The Jub flies ahead. A monstrous winged shadow soars above. Exterior, the White Queen's castle, continued. Everyone has gathered just outside the castle walls. They wait nervously for Alice to make her decision. The Bandersnatch lopes in, a white knight astride him. Her blonde hair hangs down the back of the shining armor. She holds the Vorpal sword high. A rousing cheer rises up, but the cheer fades as they feel a shadow pass overhead.
Coming, look up!
But Alice is undaunted.
A ugly word.
Exterior, the Tolgi Wood, a clearing day. The White Queen and her allies meet the Red Queen and her army at the same clearing in the wood.
Hello, Erasabeth.
Mirana.
The White Rabbit blows his trumpet.
This frabjous day, the queens, red and white, shall send forth their champions to do battle on their behalf. Oh, Racy.
The Red Queen's eyes soften to hear her childhood nickname.
We don't have to fight.
The Red Queen's eyes narrow suspiciously.
I know what you're doing. You think you can blink those pretty little eyes and I'll melt like Mums and Daddy did.
Just give me my crown.
It's my crown. I'm the eldest. Jabberwocky!
Behind her, a dark form rises. The March hare twitches uncontrollably.
Look up. It's here. Look up.
Jabberwocky's vast wingspan darkens the clearing. It swings its reptilian head, whips its pronged tail, extends one deadly claw and adjusts its vest. Alice can barely contain her fear.
But this is impossible.
Only if you believe it is.
His words spark a memory of her father.
Sometimes I believe as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast.
An excellent practice, but just at the moment, you should focus on the Jabberwocky.
The right answer. She smiles.
Where's your champion, little sister?
Alice steps boldly into the clearing.
Here.
On Alice and the Jabberwocky. She looks up at the huge, terrifying creature. The Jabberwocky roars. Alice whispers to herself, her voice trembling.
6 impossible things. Count them, Alice. 1, there's a potion that can make you shrink. 2, and a cake that can make you grow.
She draws the Vorpal sword. The Jabberwocky lowers its huge head and hisses.
So, my old friend, we meet on the battlefield once again.
Alice is shocked. She hadn't thought that it could talk.
We have never met.
Not you, insignificant bearer. My ancient enemy, the Vorpal one.
He strikes out suddenly with his spiked tongue. Alice lifts the sword to defend herself, and the sword slices off the Jabberwocky's tongue. It falls to the ground, wriggling in the dirt. The Jabberwocky can only make a burbling sound.
That's enough chatter.
The Jabberwocky whips its pronged tail and knocks her to the ground. She lays for a moment, catching her breath and continuing her 6 impossible things.
3, animals can talk.
The Jabberwocky drives its spiked tail down to stab her. She barely rolls out of the way in time.
4, Alice.
She pulls herself to her feet.
Cats can disappear.
Watch your head!
She ducks in time to avoid the creature's snapping jaws.
5. There is a place called Wonderland.
It swipes at her with long, curved claws. She deflects them.
6.
She stands still for a moment, then slowly lifts her head. All fear is gone. There is nothing but fierce intention and bloodlust in her eyes.
I can slay the Jabberwocky.
She swings the sword and attacks with fury. The Jabberwocky is surprised by her fierceness. They do battle.
Behind you!
She turns distracted. Claws scrape down the back of her armor. Alice backs up toward the Hatter, fending off the Jabberwocky.
I can manage. Thank you.
The Red Queen sees them talking.
The Hatter's interfering! Off with his head!
Exterior, the Tugly Wood. A clearing, day, continuous. Stain runs toward him. Sword drawn. Hatter fights back, and the well-ordered duel erupts into a full-scale battle, with Alice and Jabberwocky in the eye of the storm. During the battle, Bayard and Malamkun take on the Jub bird. Chest disappears and reappears to confuse the Red Knights. The Bandersnatch does battle with 4 Red Knights. The Tweedles fight back to back with perfect precision and timing, and not a single argument. March Hare stares upward, paralyzed with fear, until he gets slammed by a Red Knight. Then he goes crazy, throwing things like a wild man. On Alice and the Jabberwocky. Alice leaps into the Jabberwocky, pulling herself up his scales. He twists and snaps, trying to shake her off. The Vorpal sword practically pulls itself out of her hand in its relentless pursuit of the creature's head. Alice makes her way to the Jabberwocky's vest, where she clings, trying to slash its neck with the sword. The vest buttons strain on with Alice's weight. They snap. 1, 2, 3. Only one left holding the vest on by a thread. Alice can barely hold on to the slashing sword. Just as the last button gives way, she propels herself into the air.
Off with your head!
With one powerful thrust, she cuts off the Jabberwocky's head. Both Alice and the head fall at once, the Jabberwocky's jaws still snapping at her in its death throes. Alice hits the ground hard. The Jabberwocky's head rolls a few feet away. She lays on the ground, breathing heavily. Finally, she picks up the Jabberwocky's head, carries it to the Red Queen, and drops it at her feet. The Queen points to Alice imperiously.
Kill her!
Exterior, the Tulgey Wood, day continuous. The nearest Red Knight throws down his weapon.
I follow you no more, bloody big head.
How dare you! Off with his head!
The other Red Knights toss their weapons down. The crown lifts off the Red Queen's head. She snatches for it as it floats over to the White Queen, where it gently lowers to her head. The Cheshire Cat materializes next to her.
Racebeth of Crims, your crimes against Underland are worthy of death, but that is against my vows. Therefore, you are banished to the Outlands. No one is to show you any kindness or ever speak a word to you. You will have not a friend in the world.
Stain bows unctuously to the White Queen.
Majesty, I hope you bear me no ill will.
Except this one. Elosavic Stain, you will join Erasabeth in banishment from this day until the end of Underland.
The White Knights grab Stain and chain him to Erasabeth.
Well, at least we have each other.
In her last panic, Stain pulls a knife and tries to stab her. She screams. The Hatter knocks the knife away. Stain drops to his knees before the White Queen.
Kill me. Please.
But I do not owe you a kindness.
Red and White Knights drag them away.
You tried to kill me! You tried to kill me!
The Hatter bursts into an enthusiastic dance.
Oh, Fabrish Day Calais. Wait, hold on. I have music coming. Just here we go. Here we go.
What is he doing?
Butterwhacking.
The Hatter pulls Alice into the dance. It's a wild, wacky, joyous dance, and when it's done, he kisses her at last. Chess puts a comforting arm around a disappointed Malcolm.
Movie.
The White Queen leans down to the still bleeding Jabberwocky's neck to catch a drop of its blood into a vial.
And blood of the Jabberwocky, you have our everlasting gratitude, and for your efforts on our behalf.
The Queen hands the vial to her.
Will this take me home?
If that is what you choose.
Alice lifts the vial. The Hatter puts his hand on hers.
Hey.
What an idea. A crazy, mad, wonderful idea.
She looks at the strange and wonderful beings she's met in this strange and wonderful place. But then, thoughts of her mother and sister and unfinished business intrude.
I cannot. There are questions I have to answer and things I still must do.
She drinks the potion.
I'll be back again before you know it.
Won't remember me.
Of course I will. How could I forget?
His face starts to shimmer as he whispers in her ear.
Have fun, Alice.
Underland shimmers and then dissolves into interior, the rabbit hole, day. Grass. Alice finds herself face down in the field, clinging to the edge of the rabbit hole, legs dangling precariously. Exterior, the meadow, day. Alice pulls herself up and looks around, blinking in the bright sun. She shakes her head, all memory of Underland gone once again. She looks down at her clothes, confused by the ragged, torn, filthy condition. She looks at the rabbit hole.
Must have fallen in.
Exterior, the Ascot estate, the garden party. The party is still going on, although a bit subdued. Hamish speaks to the confused guests.
She just left me standing there without an answer.
A case of nerves, no doubt. Okay.
People fall silent as Alice wanders back onto the lawn, looking like she's been through a war.
Alice?
Good fucking lord, are you all right?
Her mother goes to her.
What happened to you?
Fell down a hole and hit my head.
You look a frightful mess.
Alice turns to Hamish. Her adventure, although unremembered, has given Alice unwavering confidence and self-awareness.
I'm sorry, Hamish. I can't marry you. You're not the right man for me. And there's a trouble with your digestion.
Oh.
I love you, Margaret, but this is my life. I'll decide what to do with it. Lowell, you're lucky to have my sister for your wife. I know you'll be good to her. I'll be watching you very closely.
He blanches at the veiled threat. She turns to Imogen.
There is no prince, Aunt Imogen. You need to talk to someone about these delusions.
She addresses Lady Ascot.
I happen to love rabbits, especially white ones.
He turns to her mother and kisses her on the cheek.
Don't worry, Mother. I'll find something useful to do with my life. You two remind me of some funny boys I met in a dream.
She looks around. Anyone else? Lord Ascot lifts a finger.
Yeah, you've left me out.
No, I haven't, sir. You and I have business to discuss.
Oh, the impertinence!
Shut up.
Bitch, shut up. I'd like to hear what she has to say. Shall we speak in the study?
He starts to lead her off, but she turns back.
Oh, and one more thing.
She lifts her skirt, revealing her bare legs, and does a brisk flutter whack into the shock of some and the delight of others. Interior, Ascot Mansion, the study. Later, Alice studies a map of the world on the table.
My father told me he planned to expand his trade route to Sumatra and Borneo, but I don't think he was looking far enough.
Not far enough?
No, we need to colonize everything. Why not go all the way to China? It's vast, the culture is rich, and we have a foothold here in Hong Kong. To be the first to trade with China, can you imagine it?
She looks at him. Her eyes shine just like her father's did.
Alice, if you were anyone else, I would say you've lost your senses. But I've seen that look before. Since you're not going to be my daughter-in-law, Perhaps you would consider an apprenticeship with the company. Wow, I can speak.
On her surprise and delightly exterior, a sailing ship 6 months later. A crowd has gathered to see the China Trading Company's ship off. Alice stands on the deck waving to her mother, sister, and Lord Ascot. As the ship pulls away, a beautiful monarch butterfly with blue-tipped wings lands on her shoulder. She smiles.
Hello, Absalom.
The butterfly takes wing as Alice watches it soar skyward. Fade out. The end of Alice.
Perfect way to end. David, are you coming back? Amazing. So that was, wow. That was Theater But Better's reading of Alice in Wonderland. Next month, very exciting, we will be reading Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. And that will be on, hold on. They're always on the third Saturday. It'll be on the 17th. So make sure you follow us on Instagram at Theater But Better. And thank you guys so much for coming. Bye. And the live stream.